Anthropic just launched Claude Sonnet 5 with introductory pricing of $2 per million input tokens and $10 per million output tokens. That number sounds boring until you understand what it means. Sonnet 5 hits 93% of Opus 4.8's performance on real work at roughly 30% of the price. It's now the default model for every free ChatGPT equivalent Claude user starting July 1st. The word for what just happened is arbitrage. The gap between what Sonnet 5 charges and what most competitors charge for equivalent capability is enormous. And the ripple effects across the AI industry are only starting to hit. Today, I'll walk through what makes Sonnet 5 different, why Anthropic priced it this aggressively, which competitors are now overpriced, and the specific move you should make if you're paying for AI right now. To understand Sonnet 5's pricing, you have to understand what's happening across the AI industry in Q2 2026. Enterprises hit their token maxing crisis. That's the word people started using for what happens when you deploy agentic AI at scale. Complex workflows that used to be $50 a month per user turned into $2,000 a month per user overnight because agent workflows consume massive amounts of tokens on internal reasoning steps. Companies started reversing their agentic rollouts. Some canceled co-pilot deployments. Some went back to human workflows because the AI costs killed the ROI. Anthropic saw this coming and built Sonnet 5 specifically for it. The design mandate wasn't make our smartest model. It was make an agent-capable model at a price that keeps enterprise AI economics viable. At $2 in and $10 out, that's exactly what they delivered. Sonnet 5 is designed for agentic workflows, which means three things specifically. First, tool use. Sonnet 5 can use browsers, terminals, code execution environments, and API tools autonomously. Give it a task like research this company and write a report, and it opens tabs, executes searches, extracts data, and writes without handholding. Second, longer autonomous runs, where Sonnet 4.6 could sustain 45 minutes of independent work before losing coherence. Sonnet 5 handles multi-hour sessions. Zapier's engineering team publicly reported that Salesforce automation workflows that used to stall halfway through now complete end-to-end. Third, planning depth. Sonnet 5 doesn't just execute steps, it breaks a task into a plan, executes the plan, and adjusts when steps fail. That's the specific capability that makes it work for agents. On the benchmarks, 63.2% on agentic coding versus Sonnet 4.6 at 58.1%. That's a 5-point jump in one generation. On real workflows and production, the reliability improvement is even bigger because the failure modes changed. Sonnet 4.6 would give up halfway. Sonnet 5 keeps going. The context window is 1 million tokens, same as Fable 5. Enough for entire code bases or 100-page documents. Let's do the math on what Sonnet 5 does to the competitive landscape. GPT 5.5 sits at roughly $5 input, $20 output. That's 2.5 times more than Sonnet 5 for capability. That's within a few percentage points on most benchmarks. Unless your work requires GPT's specific strengths, visual generation, ChatGPT ecosystem lock-in, you're overpaying by half. Gemini 3.5 flash launched at Google I/O in May, and it's aggressively priced too, roughly matching Sonnet 5. On paper, it's the direct competitor. In practice, Gemini's tool use and agentic reliability lags Sonnet 5 in most independent tests. Fine for high-volume simple tasks. Weaker for complex agent workflows. Opus 4.8 at $15 input, $75 output is now specifically for the tasks that need frontier capability, long horizon planning, complex research, anything where accuracy at the edge matters. For everything else, Sonnet 5 is what you should use. Fable 5 at $10 input, $50 output is for the tasks where 93% isn't good enough and you need 100% capability with multi-day autonomy. The mental model, Sonnet 5 is the workhorse, Opus 4.8 and Fable 5 are for specific hard problems. Everything else in the industry is overpriced. Let me translate this to real dollars. A typical agentic workflow, say researching 50 leads and writing personalized emails, uses about 100,000 input tokens and 30,000 output tokens per lead. On GPT 5.5, that's $1.10 per lead. On Sonnet 5, that's 50 cents per lead. Run that for 500 leads a month and you're looking at $550 versus $250. Over a year, that's a $3,600 savings from one migration. Multiply across all your workflow: content generation, customer support automation, data analysis, code assistance, the savings compound. For teams running heavy AI usage, the savings from switching to Sonnet 5 can easily be $20,000 to $100,000 a year with no reduction in output quality. The reason more companies aren't doing this immediately: inertia. Their prompt engineering is tuned to whatever model they started with. Switching means retesting workflows, but the ROI on switching is enormous. Most teams should be planning this migration in the next 90 days, being honest about the limit. For truly hard reasoning tasks, Sonnet 5 still loses to Opus 4.8 by 6 to 8 points on the hardest benchmarks. If your work sits at the edge of AI capability, competition-level math, novel scientific reasoning, edge case coding problems, Opus is still the right call. For multi-day autonomy, Fable 5 is what you want. Sonnet 5 handles multi-hour sessions well. It doesn't handle multi-day sessions the way Fable 5 does. For creative writing at the very highest quality, Opus 4.8 still produces slightly better prose. The gap is small enough that most people won't notice. But for content where every sentence matters, Opus wins. For vision-heavy work with complex diagrams and charts, Fable 5 has an edge. Sonnet 5 handles vision well, not quite at Fable's level. The pattern, Sonnet 5, is where you should start for 80% of your work. Upgrade to Opus or Fable only when you specifically hit the ceiling. Sonnet 5 forces a repricing across the industry. OpenAI is going to have to cut GPT 5.5 pricing or lose enterprise deals. This will probably happen in Q3 2026. GPT 5.6 or a mid-tier equivalent will need to hit roughly $2 to $3 in input pricing to stay competitive. Google's Gemini pricing is already close, but the tool use reliability gap gives Anthropic a durable advantage until Google closes it. The bigger shift, the entire AI industry is transitioning from all-you-can-eat pricing to per-token metered pricing. GitHub Copilot already announced this move in June with GitHub AI credits. Every tool built on frontier APIs is going to have to reprice. For you as a user or builder, this means AI is going to feel more like electricity and less like a subscription. You'll pay for what you use. Heavy users will pay more, light users will pay less. The $20 a month unlimited era is ending. 3 specific moves. 1, if you're on Claude free or a paid plan, Sonnet 5 is now the default. You're already using it. Great. 2, if you're paying for GPT 5.5 or a competitor for anything beyond specific use cases, run your workloads on Sonnet 5 side by side for a week. Test the actual output quality. Most people will find Sonnet 5 is good enough for 80 to 90% of what they were doing on more expensive models. 3, if you're building anything on API, migrate to Sonnet 5 as your default. Keep Opus 4.8 and Fable 5 as fallbacks for specific hard tasks. The economics will improve dramatically without meaningful quality loss. In the comments, what AI service are you currently paying too much for? Tell me what you use it for, and I'll tell you whether Sonnet 5 is the right migration path. Subscribe. Next video is Google's biggest search redesign in 25 years and why it's going to break SEO for millions of businesses.